finally, we have something very special. And I've been waiting for this GPU for so long, but finally it's here. This is the MSI RTX 5080 Expert, and it's probably my favorite GPU. But regardless, there's one huge thing that breaks my heart about this GPU. So let's dive into what this GPU is and how does it compare. Hey, what you doing? I'm putting this up there. No, I'm putting it up there. It's the best, so it goes on the top. Listen, buddy, I just tested it, and this is the best. This is the FSP Mega TI, and it's as good as PSUs get, up to 1650 watts, 80 plus titanium rating, and much more. Well, I've got this FSP Vita GM 850 watt. Sure, it only goes up to 1000 watts on these models, but it's sold as 80 plus gold tier product while achieving platinum level efficiency. I'd say a lot better value for money. Plus, it's received multiple international media awards. Media awards. This has media awards for breakfast. It's fully modular. It has two 12-volt power connectors for those who want to run multiple high-end GPUs, and ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1 certifications, ensuring the highest quality connections. Well, ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 and fully modular are also standard over here. And it's a much smaller footprint and comes also in white color, plus more affordable. Yeah, but the Mega TI is still better. No, I think this is better. Wanna check out mine in the description below? If you're building the best of the best PC, you have to go with the FSP Mega TI. The Vita GM has strong performance with great value, which is the smart pick though. But which one would you choose? So before we're gonna plug it into our test bench setup, we're gonna take a look at the box and what it comes in, a little bit of a design and how does it compare to some of the other GPUs, which will be very interesting as well, because this GPU is so much bigger than I actually thought in person. Insane. By the way, if you want to pick this one up, I'm going to leave the link in the description below, where you can also find our mailing list. So if you want to get access to our database for GPU benchmarks and some other benchmarks, then check it out in the video description below. Or if you're a creator and you want to know when relevant tech comes out or there's some improvements to your workflow, just sign up for our mailing list so you can get the relevant info directly to your mailbox. Now, inside the box, we have the GPU sag bracket. So you open this that way, and then we can just extend it and then close it back up, and voila, we have a sag bracket. It is also magnetic, as you can see. Then the secondary thing we get is this conversion adapter from the 16-pin 12-volt high power cable to 3 8-pin PCIe power cables. But as you can see, MSI has made those yellow. And the reason for this is so that when you plug them in, you're gonna make sure that it's all the way plugged in, because if you still see yellow, you haven't plugged your cable properly in. And if you're looking at this GPU, the design is absolutely amazing. But the first thing I'll show you is that the actual pin cover, there is an interesting slot or cover for the power cable in here. So this just comes off, and then you can just plug this in right over there this way. But if you look very closely, you can still see a little bit of yellow, and I'm like, oh, I haven't plugged it properly in. And now I could hear a little click there as well. And then now it's fully in. Now, if you've got bigger fingers, you might struggle to actually get this cable off. So, because you only got a little bit of space in there to take this off, but it does come off just like that. If you've seen this before and you are subscribed, double tap the screen right now. But if you haven't subscribed yet, then you're part of the 80% that are watching the videos but are not subscribed. Consider subscribing so you don't miss the future uploads. Now, before I'm gonna get other RTX 5080s out, let's take a look at this design. It just looks minimal, doesn't look gamery, and there's some interesting thing going on in terms of engineering as well. Obviously from the side, it's pretty plain what you see from the side. MSI logo is really nicely golden, so it's actually an interesting kind of a bronzy beige color. It's not exactly rose gold, but it's more towards rose gold, a slightly goldish color in there. From the bottom of the GPU, you can see two fans. Well, you should be able to see one through there, but there's a fan in here, and the airflow for this works that this air sucks or pushes the air in, and there's an actual like a chamber. The fins change direction. So as you can see, the fins on this side are this way and the fins on that side are the other way. So somewhere around there, they change direction. And then this goes in here and then blows out from the back. So the back of your PC case, the air will come out from there, exhaust hot air outside your PC case. And then the air gets actually sucked through here from this side through these fins and this very interesting design grill, and then actually comes out from the other side. But now the fan is on the other side of here, and this is reverse fan. It kind of pushes the air out, pulls it through, and then pushes it out. On the top of the GPU, you can see two little screw holes. So if you want to 3D print a bracket to hold the GPU to your case, you can do that. The PCB and everything is very well covered, and on the back we can see HDMI and then 3 display ports. So simple, minimalistic design, and that's what I like about it a lot. So this is Palit Gaming Pro RTX 5080. This is Zotac Solid RTX 5080, and this over here is Noctua RTX 5080. As you can see, the Noctua is on a whole other level. It's absolutely huge and ridiculous. So the Noctua is extra like 2 inches longer than the MSI, but the MSI is very, very wide, long card. So if you look at the actual ends where here the PCIe bracket ends, you can see that MSI has the longest length from this side. In fact, it might be actually 137. It's the same width as the Noctua one, but Noctua is taller and longer. Compared to Palit, it is smaller. The MSI is 137 millimeters. The Palit is 114. And then the Zotac is somewhere in the middle at 121. But the interesting thing is, I'm not sure if you already see that the fan on the MSI is extremely large, but it's still not as thick as the Noctua one. So Noctua one is 25 millimeters thick. This is probably around 15. The blade diameter on Noctua is 111 or 110, but on MSI, it's actually even longer. It's about 115. So we get extra 5 millimeters bigger fan on here than what we have on Noctua, which is insane. And compared to these guys, these look absolutely small. This here is 91, and then the Zotac is about 94, slightly bigger. If we turn them on the other side, just look how much nicer the MSI backplate is. It's just simple, plain metal on the back that just says GeForce RTX, compared to lots of stuff that's going on Noctua, lots of stuff that's going on with this Palit one, even though maybe this pass-through is the biggest. Then Zotac has the longest PCB. Look how long this goes, all the way up to there, which is longest, and then a little bit of pass-through, but still a lot of things going on. Look how minimalistic and nice this over there is. Let me check this there. Again, very wide fan in here, 115 millimeters blade edge to edge. It's insane. Now, one of the interesting things that you see here is a BIOS switch. There is no BIOS switch on the other one. You can see here is a dual BIOS, performance and silent. Zotac has a button on this side here. Noctua has a switch here as well, power mode and quiet. In here, I don't see that. So let's plug this in over there and then start testing, see how good it is. Okay, so we've just completed testing of the GPU benchmarks on this MSI RTX 4090. So we're keeping the MSI theme. In terms of thickness of the cards, this is the Gaming X. Very gamery look, if that makes sense. But then a lot thicker 4090 compared to the 5080. So my first install of this. Wow, it's very wide. So even though it's screwed in, the card is very rigid, but it's nice to have a bit of support underneath there. It's nice because this is magnetic, and then Support it like that. Boom. I'm actually using 4 PCIe power cables here, so technically this is 600 watt power supply for the card. And this is the original NVIDIA Founders Edition one, but just because on the TESTBENCH setup, we've got it all laid out here, so there shouldn't be any problems. Okay, first turn on. We've got fans on. Any RGB? No, and that's a good thing. One thing I do notice right now is, if you wanna have this card on a vertical, like move it this way, then the airflow is not going to be as good. Suddenly we're pulling air sideways from here to there. So this fan on the top here that's supposed to push air up is not pushing it air up, but it's pushing it that side. So the airflow is not going to be as nice. But what a beautiful card. Oh, MSI, please keep making cards like that. That looks absolutely amazing. As you can see, our 5080 is in here. It does have 16 gigabytes of dedicated VRAM, which is nice. I wish it was more, but that's not MSI's problem, that's NVIDIA problem. Now, I want to know how well does it hold up in terms of cooling. So, we're going to start the benchmark already. So let it start heating up. And then what can we see over here? We're pulling 320 watts. That's going to be very, very low for this GPU. Wow, it's so quiet. Literally can't hear it. I can hear like the power supply, but not the fans, because the fans are so big. The diameter of it is so wide, it doesn't have to spin as fast to actually give the same performance, which is really, really nice. The fans are only going 1000 RPM, which is kind of like, you know, just idling in there. I don't know if you can see this, but it's 25 degrees. So we can see that the temperatures are climbing, but the GPU fans on both sides, we can see that the fans are not spinning the same speed. So they're not going to make harmony, so they're slightly offset, which reduces the noise. Again, amazing thing from MSI. Look at that, we're pulling, what, 340 watts now, not 320. I guess why not? If our GPU temperature is 64 degrees, and look, we've already kind of plateaued on this side. We can see that that's kind of where it sits. It's so good. Memory junction 62. Yeah, it's getting slightly warm from the top. Okay, slightly still climbing. So this card that I have here is the OC version, which means that if I'm looking at the clock speeds here, they're higher than the non-OC version. So the non-OC version goes 2625, and then this OC version goes 2730. And as you can see, boost clock on both of them is, like on this OC version, is a little bit higher. So let's see what I have seen so far. GPU clock speeds, I have gone, okay, well, I've already gone higher than what they're saying there. So the extreme performance is 2730, a boost 2715. And I am just boosting here right now, 2775, which is much higher than what even MSI advertises. So if you're looking at the Founders Edition 5080, that boosts to about 2620 megahertz. We are so much higher right now. Even at full utilization, it's so much higher, which just shows that this card is insane. So we have plateaued now. As you can see, it's just been the same. Our memory junction here is 64 degrees, GPU temperature 67 degrees. But just to show how much performance is actually in store in there, what I've got open here is MSI Afterburner. I'm gonna open the fan speeds, and the fan speeds are at 44%. And as you can see, they have ramped up a bit. They're about 1400 now. But interestingly, now they're in sync in terms of speed. Exactly the same RPM on both of them. So if I'm just gonna raise this to, let's say, 80% fan speeds, let's just apply. Let's take a look at the fan speeds now on this side. Okay, now I can hear the fans, 2300. So we've almost doubled. Look at the temperature, just how it goes down. We've lost 4 degrees. And if we go all the way maximum, the fan speeds are going to 2700, 2800. And now I can really feel air blow out from the backside. And then from the top, we're blowing lots of air out. And the temperature, we've just literally pulled down 10 degrees. So there's so much cooling in store for this. And we're still pulling 337 or 340 watts. Interestingly, if you look at the specs, what MSI said over here, it should be pulling about 360 watts. So we're still 20 watts lower, but much higher boost clocks. So I don't know if this is a unicorn card, but we're getting really good results in here. Now, what I want to know is if we increase the power limit, because right now our power limit is 100%, but we can add extra 11%. I'm gonna put the fans to auto again. So I wanna see at which loudness it keeps that power limit. So if I press apply now, watch this, the GPU power limit should go higher or not. It should go. We're still at 330 watts, so I don't get it. Why is this not gone higher? The temperature is so good. Okay, let's try this. This look here. Fan speed, power limit. Yeah, okay, let's try power limit down. If it's 86%. Okay, as you can see, we've gone to 309 degrees or 309 watts. But then we go 111%. See, we're still lower than what it should be. We should be getting much higher here. We should be going like 380, something like that. Maybe MSI Center is the one that kind of allows us to get better results. Look at this kind of Founders Edition card. I like that. But the power limit still. Maybe just thinks that we've got such high clock speeds, we don't really need more power limit. Maybe we have to increase the clock speeds as well. Let's try that. So if you run that, then now power limit 110 clocks. Let's give it extra 200 megahertz. I don't know if this is gonna work. It might crash now. Look, 3,000. Are we pulling more? No, we're not. Literally. Oh my goodness. This is there's so much. How is it possible? How is the GPU so high clock speeds? Surely this shouldn't happen. And it's absolutely no problem. Bear in mind the boost clock speed of the Founders Edition card is 2.6 gigahertz and we are 3. So we've clocked it 400 megahertz higher. And it's still like, yeah, what? No problem. Let's try extra like 400. Okay. Okay, now we crashed. Oopsie. I think I have to manually reset it. Oh, don't worry, we'll go back. We'll try to figure it out, but extra 200 megahertz, that's like quite insane, I think. It's MSI Center here. Yes, I have. Oh, do we have to go all the way down? I wonder if someone's ever read this. Okay, yes. Come on now. Okay, I am a video editing creator. Oh, let's try this. I'm just gonna skip this actually. Hardware monitoring, GPU, no. Okay, user scenarios. Okay, here's what we have to do. Let's try this. I don't want this, I don't want this. No. Interestingly, even MSI Center doesn't really allow that. So as you can see, we're still at 330 watts or something like that. Power limit. Okay, 111. But it literally thinks it doesn't, look, we don't need any more power. That's that. Core clock speeds, we tried 200, let's try 300. Let's see what happens. Yep, 3.1 gigahertz. Okay, now look, it's pulling a bit more, 353 watts. Because it's thinking, okay, we'll push a bit more power through to keep those clock speeds. But it's still fan speed 42. It's no problem. Let's try 325. Yep. We're literally 3.1 gigahertz. Are we pulling more watts? 354. Okay, so we're not even, okay, 350. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're pulling 350 watts now. We're over 3.1 gigahertz. Let's try memory overclock as well. Let's try plus 150. What is our memory clock in there? Let's see if we can get it to 2 gigahertz. Okay, let's try more. 250. Still on. Look, we're still not even hitting the base power limit. I mean, I'm not an overclocker, but this seems like pretty good news. Memory is still going higher. Okay. 450. The temperature is still about the same as what we were in standard. And look how much we've increased. 550. Still seems fine. Look at the GPU memory. Let's try 375 GPU clock speeds. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're getting close to like 357 watts. And we've increased the memory clock speeds by 550. Let's try 650. I don't know if it actually does increase it, because the memory clock here doesn't really go higher. GPU clock speeds have gone higher. So let's see how many frames per second do we get right now. 465 with this overclock. 466, something like that. We're very close to the maximum, 467. Let's see if we can put 385 memory core clock speeds. 395. Yep, still fine. Look at the GPU clock speeds. Memory. Okay, 1 gigahertz extra. Our memory is running now at 2 gigahertz and we've added extra 1000. Interestingly, the frames per second doesn't necessarily change that much there. Okay, 400. This is where it crashed on the core clock speeds last time. Nope, look at that. We're at 3.2 almost, 3.2 gigahertz. Memory is a lot higher there. Power limit, we're still not even at the stock power limit, and look how much I've increased it. Memory is basically gone over 50% increase. Core clock speeds from 2.4 to 3.2. Oh, okay, I think we've just hit the limit in there. Yeah, there we go, it crashed. So 1400, it worked for a bit, and then now it was gone, because we can't really change the voltage of it. So let's, GPU is just like kind of buzzing around like nothing. That's absolutely insane. As you can see, our GPU clock speeds are much lower right now. So I'm gonna run this benchmark again. I wanna see what this was without the overclock. So as you can see, without the overclock, we're around the 450, 460, and now we've only got 8 extra frames per second. So that doesn't necessarily change a lot, but let's do some creator benchmarks now. So we've got V-Ray CUDA here. Everything is stock like it used to be. Start the test and we'll see what the GPU power and everything is in there. This is what actually people would be doing for rendering. See, in an actual active workload, we're pulling around 200 watts, which is nowhere near what it can do. But I wonder if this is an older benchmark, can't really utilize this. So I've got another option. Okay, 3,445, we pulled roughly around 210 watts maximum. So power limit, max, memory overclock, let's keep it somewhere around the safe margin. 900 extra, and then core clock speeds, 400 was a crash. We'll do 375. 375. Okay. Increase. So boom, that should be, core clock speed should be higher. So let's reset this and then try it again. Exactly the same test. Let's see how this goes now. Are we pulling any extra? Do we get higher score? 3,445 to beat. Pulled extra 3 watts, extra 5 watts, something like that. So there's a bit more power going through. Look at that GPU clock speeds. We are going to that 3.18 gigahertz. In terms of wattage, okay, we did get a higher score, 3,695, which is, okay, I'm just gonna go back to defaults right now. Boom. So a little bit extra performance, which is interesting. Let's try Redshift. This is Cinebench R26, but it uses a Redshift engine to render on the GPU. And here we should see probably a little bit of a higher GPU usage. We'll see. Okay, so we'll reset this here. This is completely stock GPU. Start GPU benchmark. Clock speeds 2.5, 2.8. And look, we're only pulling 157 watts. 107,555. So let's go here, 375. This 900. Power limit max. Apply. Let's try it again. Previously 158. Okay, extra 2 watts. Extra 10 watts, 168. Yeah, we got a bit higher score, 107,573, but that's not that different whatsoever. I want to see if Octane Render can pull a little bit more watts than what we see there, but Thermark usually is kind of synthetic, so we're seeing the most usage in there. Thermark, again, about 235 watts. So then, conclusion about this MSI GPU. Number one, absolutely amazing design, and I'm so happy to see something like that. It just works, it's absolutely fantastic. I think 10 out of 10 in terms of design and performance. If you look at what this is capable of, there's no cooling issues. It is so powerful, it just kind of breezes along. In terms of overclocking opportunities, there's plenty of those available as well. So I don't know if I've got a very good unicorn, and I would love to know what you guys are getting in the comment section below, but this is absolutely fantastic. But now we come to the one bit that kind of upsets me. The upsetting part is, why is this not 5090? Because the cooling obviously can keep up with it. I don't know if there's some kind of a secret handshake with NVIDIA or something like that, that they're not allowed to do it because NVIDIA wants to be the only one to do the, 5090s in that small, slim form factor. This here, I'd argue maybe even better performance than on the NVIDIA, but now we know that the ProArt does also kind of a slim 5090, which would love to get hands on as well. But this is basically over-engineered. Again, what we see in the 5080 cooling, there's too much cooling in this one. It's just too good. It should be 5090 to give us that performance, because as a creator, I would love to have this as a 5090. That's my only downside about the card, is basically saying just, remove the speed limit. Let us go full belt, because that would be amazing. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. I've got some awesome information for creators. As you know, we benchmark hundreds of GPUs and CPUs and other tech on the channel for creators. If you scan this QR code over here, you get access to our internal data and benchmark database. There's also a link in the video description below if you want to check that out. And we'll also be sending you my 3 tips for optimizing your PC that I also do for video editing. So if you're interested in that, scan that QR code. If you have any other questions or requests, check out Minect in the video description below. I'll always get back to my Minect messages 100% and very fast. So if you want that, link in the description below. If you'd like to stay up to date with the tech and information that's important for creators, highly recommend signing up to our mailing list, which you can scan through this QR code or find the link in the description below as well. And this is for people who don't have time to always search for the information, but just want the right information to land directly into their email box. And I am not a big fan of spamming inbox because I'm one of you guys. So I've just created a way how you can get access to the best information relevant for you. And hey, if you've reached this far, then YouTube thinks that this is one of the videos that you'll like next. And actually hitting that like button, it makes a difference. Subscribe with bell to not miss any of the future uploads. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much guys for watching. Bye-bye.